very true.
Yeah, man. And we don't listen too, man. That's another thing. Like we always talk about how people want to be heard and listening and stuff. Like I remember to get back like on the topic of women, I specifically like hold on, I'm gonna show you this. I saved this. I'm not going to out anybody. Niggas might get bad, but I mean nobody knows who the fuck you are, so I mean it is what it is. But I was in the gym with my homies, right? And bottom line, one homie had posted something about like a girl like talking, you know what I mean? And somebody pretty much just said like niggas don't want to hear none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like something's wrong, she'll just be fine. Like just say like just pretty much like just be like
Yeah.
like while she talks.
Yeah.
And that it seemed like the girl was really trying to talk about something, bro, and it's just like that's a problem. Like why don't we listen to women? You know what I mean? Like it's crazy because in my life, one of my best friends and the person that I learned the most from is a woman. For real. Like I don't know why as men we front off women's opinions. Like I think we need to listen to women more and listen in general.
It's layered though. It's layered because it goes back to men only respecting and listening to women they're attracted to, or they trying to. It's like conquest. It's like if they can get something out the woman, then it's like they'll listen to her, they'll give her some attention. But it's like if she can't do anything for them, then it's like why do they feel the need to listen to her? That's like how I feel like a lot of men think, and it's like that's what's dangerous.
Yeah.
And that's what leads them to not even listening and not being able to hear. They don't value the platonic friendships with women. They don't just value women themselves. They only value them for their sexual like objectification. And it's like it's not right, but like that's a lot of you see it a lot.
Yeah, that's where ego comes in. Just like treating women like they're inanimate objects and just something that you just knock down and like you know,
exactly.
like that's it. Just
no
like,
attachment, no love, no care. It's just like I hit it.
Yeah,
I did that.
I wonder how many niggas looking at this like, you know what I mean? Like not in agreement right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing.
But it's the truth.
No, it's crazy because it's like I'm just gonna get into it early. This was gonna be for the book recommendation at the end, but it's Boys and Sex, and like the chapter I want people to read, it's chapter 6. It's called I Know I'm a Good Guy, but
say who the book's by and all that shit too. Like let people know.
Peggy Orenstein. And she talks from like 18 to 22-year-olds about like sex, hookup culture, porn, consent, like a whole bunch of different important topics that that even parents struggle to talk to their kids about.
Yeah.
And that's what she talks about. It's like parents and fathers, like what we tell men is literally like growing up, dads would tell their son, use a condom, wrap up, don't get her pregnant, and that's pretty much it. But that's not telling, that doesn't tell someone don't assault somebody. That doesn't tell someone like what consent is. It, it's very vague, and like that's just been the standard. That's just been the normal. And this kind of all is tied together because it's like men's lack of emotional intelligence. It's like who's really getting the burden of that? It's women. The ones that are getting assaulted, the ones that are getting victimized and brutalized because men don't have any emotional intelligence. They don't have any parameters. They don't have any limits. But it's also not like that's the far end of it, but the not so far end is they're expected to deal with all men's baggage, all their emotional trauma that they haven't dealt with, that they that's affecting them in ways that they don't even understand. They just expect a woman to go and deal with that. They're just gonna push that all onto her. Like this is your problem if we're in a relationship now. But it's like that's not fair to her. You're an individual. You got to handle that stuff on your own. And that's something that men really been running from for perception, for different reasons, but it's like that's old. We got to get out of that. Like men got to really get emotionally in tune and start. And see, it starts with being able to talk to other men. It's crazy. It's like men can't even talk to so that's why they feel dependent on women, but they don't even realize the dependency.
Damn. There's a lot of layers to that, man. There's a lot of layers to that.
The platonic friendships, though, that's where to start too. Like if this is just kind of like for anyone, because I've been there too. Like if you're a man and, because like you said, like every guy thinks he's a good guy. Or, you know what I'm saying? Most guys, like you have some guys who say, I'm an asshole. I know I'm an asshole, this or that. But even then, like they're just kind of saying that. They don't genuinely think they're like it.
Yeah,
like,
everybody wants to be a good person.
Exactly. Like would think they are, but it's like that's and because of that, people fail to acknowledge when they aren't. Because that's something else it says. It's like, even a good guy can do a bad thing, can
Mm.
do bad things, and it's like that's why it's just like it's an awareness.
Yeah.
It's like men really need to just develop an awareness in the ways that they affect women, and it's because like that's what they're ignorant of, because like they don't realize like when they don't listen to women how unheard they feel.
Yeah.
When it's like they're trying to talk, they're trying to speak, and you're just like, okay, yeah, whatever, yeah.
There's all Teresa's at the job. Okay.
You know,
you know what I mean? Niggas
it's like
don't
no
care.
interest, exactly.
Yeah, niggas
like,
don't care.
you gotta. They aren't thinking how does that make the other person feel.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because it's like on the flip side, as soon as they're going through something, or as soon as they're like they want people to listen,
heard.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I say it's crazy because men are very emotional. Like you're saying, like very ego driven, very emotional, but it's like they don't acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. Oh, it's crazy how like, bro, especially with jealousy, a lot of men where it's like they won't even realize, bro, it's crazy. And I'm not gonna, of course we don't name names, but just like everybody probably knows dudes that out there cheating on their girl left and right. As soon as she does anything, it's crazy. It baffled, you know?
Here dropping dick at 20 houses.
Exactly, and you're baffled that she's dancing on a dude in the club with her friends. It's like, bro.
It's like, yo, what?
You know, the hypocrisy.
How dare you?
It's crazy.
How dare you dance on him?
It's
Even
crazy.
though I've been inside of all 30 of these women.
You know, it's crazy. But it's like, that's the hypocrisy that like men can't see. But like, that's what the awareness that I'm trying to bring, that I feel like this podcast that we're trying to bring about. Because it's a Anton Chekhov quote where he's just saying, until you show men what they're really like, they won't change. And like a lot of, because of the hypocrisy, men don't see what they're like. Like I'm saying, everyone thinks they're a good guy. Everyone thinks they're doing but it's like, the standards are so low that like it all needs to be rethought.
Yeah.
And definitely the perspective of the women needs to be at the forefront of that rethinking.
For sure. You know what's crazy about that though, bro? That even made me think about just the damage that narrative along with social media culture has done. Cause now we have women trying to turn it around on dudes. It's like what did you say? You said this, you told me this before. You like the finesse mindset. Yeah. It's now women are kind of like, I'm not going to get hurt.
I'm not going to get played. I'm
going to do the hurting. Fuck all that. So then you get like girls trying to be like
desensitized, you know, numbing themselves, cutting their emotions off, and that's not natural for them.
Nope.
But they're trying to make it natural for them.
And they're trying to flip it and be with, you know, the new dude, essentially, the new nigga. They're trying to play everybody else now. You know what I mean? Like, you think you're going to go out and get 20 bodies. Well, you don't even know what I'm doing. And women are smarter than us, bro.
Much.
They're way smarter than us. And we think that we're smart, but, bro, women, you will never know what a woman does, bro.
It's crazy, man. That's another ego thing. Men just think, oh, no, you know what I'm saying? I'm smarter than women.
No,
you know?
Bro, they know what they're doing, bro. They know what they're doing. It's scary. Women are so smart that it's literally scary.
Women are powerful, and it's like something that's just like universally and collectively forgotten a lot of the times. But it's like women are very powerful. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, no, for real, man. For real, but at the root of that, man, I think. See, because my whole thing is I'm trying to figure out like how do we begin to solve these things? You know what I mean? Like where does it start? Like who do we correct first? Do we get
men? You got to work on yourself.
Yeah, that's
kind of like it's addressing the problem amongst men, getting men to start talking about it, because I feel like it could be a lot of change starting there. Yeah. And it's almost just like how simple things would be if everyone just took care of themselves. Like if men took care of themselves, then it's like women took care of themselves, then it's like coexistence.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, then you're cohesive and.
It's not men trying to tell women this is what you need to do, this is what you can and can't do, and it's not women trying to tell men that. It's just men. It's like communication, listening to what both sides are coming from, and then trying to meet in the middle.
Yeah, that almost makes me think about just like the concept of like women and equality too, because I would love to hear people's opinions on this one, bro, because I'm still trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? So don't judge me. Like my perspective might change, but I think that like there should be equality. Like if a man's going to do a job and a woman's going to do the same job, they should be paid equally. You know what I'm saying? Like there should be equality in forms amongst women and men. It shouldn't matter if you're a woman, depending, you know, on different circumstances. But at the same time, I think that fight for equality has kind of diminished like the fact that we're different, that needs to be accepted. You know what I mean? Like we need to acknowledge the fact like a woman is so great because she can do everything that a man can't. You know what I mean? And vice versa. Like,
Yes.
a man is so great because he can do things that you know what I mean? We complement each other. We're complementary.
It's the balance.
So why are we trying to be the same? You know what I mean? Like, be the same. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that, like, you know, genders and sexuality. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the basic principles of being a man and being a woman. Like,
Yeah.
I was listening to a news article. It was Fox News, I believe. Yeah, it was on Fox News, and it was a panel of 3 women. One woman was a professor, one woman was a news anchor, and another woman was like an author. And they were pretty much talking about like, is chivalry dead? And they were like, did women kill chivalry? And it was cool because they had like 2 different perspectives. One of the perspectives was just pretty much considering chivalry to be like women killed it, in a sense that by claiming this independence, you know what I mean, and wanting to be so independent for all the wrongdoing that man has done before, that it's like, I don't need you anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and that in turn has caused men to kind of like draw back. So then you get like this, and I'm not talking about everybody or anybody in specific, but you have this new woman that's just like, I don't need a man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't need a man to open my door. I don't need a man to pay my way.
I can do all
you
that.
know what I mean? And in turn, like, I agree, but then I don't agree at the same time. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a respect thing. I feel like because of the roles that women play and men play, like me personally, like, I open doors for women. You know what I mean? Like, whether it's a romantic thing or not, you know what I mean? Just out of respect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I open doors and just, I mean, that's a form of chivalry, but that's just like, I think that that's something that's necessary. You know what I mean? Because it creates a precedent in our society of just a respect thing, you know? Like, and I think another thing that I kind of want to touch on, I know I'm probably talking in circles, not like going in order, but just like, a lot of men need to learn how to respect women's space too. You know what I mean? Like, the social aspects of how men treat women, bro, that shit is whack. Like, when my friends told me, like, she'll be in the club, bro, or like if a girl goes to a club, like, dudes have this thing where, like, when they walk by a girl, like, they'll touch her hip. You know what I mean? Like, when they walk by, or her ass when they walk by. Yeah. Like
it's no
why
big
you
deal.
have to do that?
Like, it's no, and they do it like it's no big deal.
Yeah, like it's
you know?
nothing. Like, bro, like don't touch her like that when you walk. You know what I mean? Like,
nobody. You know what I'm saying? Who wants to be touched when they don't want to be? You
exactly.
know,
Nobody
like, no
does.
one. But it's
nobody.
like,
if it was a nigga, they would swing on you.
Exactly. You know, but like they don't think of it like that. They just
That's
think
crazy.
of it like I'm entitled. It's entitlement.
But it's like entitlement for what? Like, what makes you think you can just infiltrate somebody's space like that and touch them?
That's the male ego, the male superiority, and like patriarchy.
That's
because
crazy.
that's the way things have been for so long. They're just like, that's what it is.
I just do what I want.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You know, it's like the man is gonna say what it is, and like that's what it is. That's
crazy.
literally kind of been history in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But it's like not really. But it's like, as far as like the basic history that people have an understanding, is pretty much just, it's just the men's perspective, and like whoever won the conflict, the military fight, they tell
whoever
tell the story. Exactly, they tell the story about it, and like that's pretty much what it's been.
That's crazy.
Whole time ignoring a whole half of the population.
Yeah. I would like to hear her story, bro. I wonder if that's even possible. If we could go. It's back
necessary.
Like, it definitely is necessary.
It's necessary.
Because, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. Like, we've been fucking up. For real, bro. We've been fucking up.
But it's like they're not in tune enough to acknowledge it or to
even
realize it.
Yeah.
Just gonna keep going, head down in the same direction.
Yeah.
That's why we got to bring awareness, and like that's why I really think it starts with men, like having the conversations amongst ourselves. Because it's like you were saying, because it is true. Like, if we weren't having this conversation, if we weren't how we were, and we were just in a room of like 30 random dudes, like a lot of them wouldn't be rocking with what we're saying. It'd be the opposite.
Hell no.
And it's like a generational thing too. It's some people that older generations. I see this a lot within some of my family members. It's just their whole thinking is literally just like, I'm not gonna say wrong, but it's like. It ain't right. It ain't right. You know what I'm saying? And it's like they genuinely like it makes sense to them. They're like, that's just how it is. You know?
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. Like, a woman's supposed to do this or that. You know? It's crazy. Bro. Nah, bro. It's even just like
get it out.
Just the hypocrisy, bro. Because this really, bro. I remember when DJ Khaled came out. This is gonna be, and he was just saying he doesn't go down on his wife. And he was just, but he expected her.
But he expected
that
her.
Epitomized like the ideology and the ego of where men are at. You know, just so it's entitlement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm entitled to everything,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have to give anything.
Almost like a woman is a servant or some shit.
That's
like,
exactly it. And men's pleasure is put above women's their basic needs. It's just like, as long as I get, as long as I get mine, as long as they get their pleasure, and like that's what needs to change.
Yeah.
It starts from from talking to women, listening to them, because that's part of it too.
Yeah.
So I would say it comes from correcting men, getting men, but then also listening to women.
Yeah, for real. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna just say it because like I want this to be interactive. Like if any women are out there listening, please feel free to give us feedback. Definitely. You know what I mean? Like in any regard to anything that we're saying, whether we're wrong, whether we're right, like it doesn't matter. That's what this is for. This is a conversation piece because there's a lot of things that we're trying to figure out. We're young, bro.